tactics is because it's gotten so bad that it is actually starting to affect people who do have some power, or at least people who know people who have some power. I'll give you one good example. The first state to pass any sort of SWAT reform bill was the state of Maryland, which passed the SWAT Transparency Bill in 2011. That bill, all it did was say any police agency in the state that has a SWAT team has to issue a twice yearly report to the Attorney General on how often you use your SWAT team, what you use it for, whether there are any shots required, what you found, several other criteria of disinformation. It was opposed by every police agency in the state, but it did pass. The reason it passed was because the person who was championing it was a mayor in Maryland who had been wrongly raided by a Prince George's County, Maryland SWAT team. They raided their own house, they shot and killed his dog. So it's pretty telling that the first state to pass any sort of SWAT reform bill was a state where, not coincidentally, SWAT tactics made a victim of a member of the political class. I'll give you another example. When the book came out, I got a call from a senior congressional aide to a pretty conservative member of Congress. And the aide was a libertarian, been reading my book for a while, and had been trying for years to get his boss interested in this particular issue, to no avail. Until about a month before he called me, he said his boss was touring the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Georgia or South Carolina. This is the facility where they train all federal law enforcement officers. So his boss was touring this federal law enforcement training facility, and he saw a bunch of IRS agents training in their teams. So the idea of the taxman being armed, being heavily armed, was enough to get this particular conservative congressman very concerned about militarization. These mass SWAT raids on people suspected of low-level pot crimes he didn't care about. But once you saw this, he got very concerned. There's a big story a few years ago. The Department of Education they insist you don't call it a SWAT team, but a high-risk warrant team they call it. And they sent their high-risk warrant team to serve a warrant with battering rams and shotguns and a flash grenade on this guy who was suspected of defrauding the student loan program. It made national news. And I thought it was really interesting. Lots of people call it a SWAT team. The Department of Education was this angry press release saying, we demand a correction. This is not a SWAT team. It's a high-risk warrant team. And they said the reason why it's not a SWAT team is that they don't get tactical training. Now, think about that. Their defense is that we have this team that does everything a SWAT team does, but they're not as well trained as a SWAT team. And therefore, we're offended that you would call them. Sort of that being the issue, which is why the hell does the Department of Education have a high-risk warrant team in the first place? Why do a number of federal regulatory agencies have